For me, I had high anticipation of meeting Azim Khamisa. I had been keeping up with the press reports and kind of reading the paper and had made note of the fact that Azim was not responding typically relative to this loss and tragedy of his son being murdered.
And I remember the first time we met, I looked deep into his eyes and saw a soul just like mine. And there was this connection.
And as we were introduced, our eyes locked. And I think that we both saw in each other a deep desire and willingness to do some healing, a need to do some healing.
Told him that I came to see him in the spirit of forgiveness and not retribution or revenge, that both he and I had lost a son that night. Tariq died and Tony went to prison for life.
And I immediately expressed my condolences and sympathies and expressed to him my willingness to help him and his family any way I could. And he said, I want to start a foundation to stop children from killing children. Will you help me?
And I need your help. Because we have to make sure. It was your grandson that took the life of my son. And it behooves you and me to now make sure that no other kid in our community makes the same choices your grandson did. Will you help me? And after he imparted his condolences to me, he said, of course, I will help you.
It used to be that, our morals and values were taught in home or in the school. And nowadays, in the society that we live in, they're not being taught at home, and they're no longer being taught in the schools. And so who's teaching those? That's what we do. We teach those in our key messages and our core values that we live by as an organization: integrity, compassionate confrontation, and forgiveness. And that's really what we bring as a staff as well as an organization to kids, and that's the most important thing that we can do.
TKF is really about changing mindsets and beliefs and attitudes around forgiveness, around making nonviolent choices, doing prevention programs and helping kids have something somewhere in the back of their minds, ideas about peace and nonviolence that we hope can stay with them, and also really spreading the message of forgiveness and that everybody has a choice of how they react to a situation.
Now you have to understand something, because I don't believe that any of you have witnessed this before. Understand, this man, his grandson, murdered this man's son. This man, his grandson, murdered this man's son. And today they sit in front of you in the spirit of compassion and forgiveness.
TKF does its Violence Impact Forum in many schools in San Diego and other parts of our country. We've been doing this for 12 years. And the reason that we are doing this is only two reasons. One is because all of you are very, very important people. Each one of you is very special. And the second reason that we do these programs is we don't want you to end up dead like Tariq or in prison for life like Tony.
One of the things that happens is it really, it kind of touches a nerve that really has been covered over. I mean, the pain that the kids are experiencing is really, it's amazing, and it's really sad, actually. But at the same time, once they finally let that pain be felt a little bit, then what happens is they start realizing that there is a safe place for them to really be able to open up, that they're not completely alone.
it's quite amazing for a group of 500 kids to be absolutely quiet. But it's the hands that go up that, for me, have been, witnessing that. It's just amazing when they're asked certain questions about violence.
And many of you, I know what I'm talking about. How many here have lost family members as a result of violence? Let's see. So many of you. And you know what I'm talking about. That we need to realize that being violent impacts so many people.
When, Azim says, I lost my son and it felt like a nuclear bomb went off in my heart and pieces were everywhere. I think some people understand that.
I can tell you, I have never in my life experienced pain like that. And that's the first point I want to make, that violence is extremely painful. That violence hurts so deep. And sometimes it scars the soul, and sometimes it scars the soul forever.
Did Tony have a right to shoot and kill an innocent person working his way through school? No, he didn't have a right to do that. So for those of you who might be thinking that all Tariq had to do was give up the pieces and he wouldn't have got shot, you're trying to blame Tariq for Tony's choice. You can never fix your mind to blame the victim for a crime committed against them by an offender who made the choice to harm them. Don't you ever fix your mind to blame the victim for being a victim. Put the responsibility where it belongs. Now, who's responsible for the death of Tariq Khamisa? Let me hear you say it loud and clear. Who's responsible? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So if you make a choice that's violent, you can't say he or she made me do it. You made the choice because you made the choice, and you have to live the consequence. So let's make the right choice.